Hi guys, welcome back to Flora Fun and Food. My name is Lauren and today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I recently opened up an Etsy shop to sell my handmade jewelry. So we're going to go through all the ones I've made so far. I think I have 60 different kinds and I just want to show you what I've done and hopefully you can go browse and find something that piques your interest, but I just wanted to kind of share what I've been doing lately and yeah, so let's get right into it. The first set is this Monstera leaf set with moss agate beads. Now, if you can see this, these are so cool. This is one of my favorite semi-precious gemstones right now. It's just like another world. I just love it. So I made these with a Monstera leaf because Monsteras are my favorite plant. Well, one of them. It's hard to pick, but I do love Monsteras. Next up is another kind of botanical set of earrings with moss agate again, but this time it's just got a really pretty brass charm, leaf charm at the bottom, and as you can see the moss agate is really different just depending on the bead, which I really love because it just makes them all unique. And then the third set in the botanical series that I have so far are again moss agate, but you can see it is almost an emerald dark deep green, and it's got this kind of fern print charm on the bottom of it, but I just really love these, and I think the green and the gold are just perfect together. So those are my 3 botanical sets so far. I do plan to make a lot more. The next group is kind of a celestial or mystic type earring. So I really liked these little wand charms. I bought tons of them because I just love how they look, and I've had fun coming up with different designs using them, but I really liked the mixed metals here with the silver wand and the brass rectangle. So these are kind of like my wand earrings. Next up, I have this moon and mushroom set. The mushroom has really sweet little pink dots on top. The moon is brass, and then it's hard to see on camera, but this stick has a really pretty kind of pink and opalescent sheen to it. This is opal acetate, so it's not real opal. Acetate is kind of like a type of plastic, I believe, but it's really durable and it's great for jewelry making, and the pink in the acetate just really matched the pink in the mushroom, and I thought these were just really sweet. Then we have this moon set, another moon set. So this has, again, that brass moon, and then it has this frosted bead with gold stars, and then a little gemstone star charm. It's not anything special, but it's just really pretty. It is gold plated, so that makes it a little bit nicer, and it won't tarnish, kind of like some other cheaper metals will. But all of my jewelry, I use 24 karat gold plated lever back ear wires because I have really sensitive ears, and so I can't wear any of that cheap metal. So I make sure that I use those on everything so that nobody will have an issue wearing my design. So here is another moon and star kind of geometric pair. This, I will have to go back and look at my orders. I don't believe this is real shell. It might be, but I have just ordered some moon beads that are made from natural shell. Then I've got a 24 karat gold plated star charm again, and a brass triangle charm. The last set in my celestial category are these, and these have been by far the most popular that I've sold so far, and they are by far the hardest to make. So figures, right? But this has a really pretty gold colored star charm, this iridescent moon charm, and then it has 3 different lengths of really fine dainty chain as kind of a tassel. The chain is what made these the hardest because, as you can see, it is paper thin, and so to get it onto this jump ring, I had to actually stretch open each chain link on this chain to get it to even fit on my thinnest gauge jump rings. So, a labor of love, but I really love how these turned out. So I've made the rest. I only had so many of each charm, and they don't actually manufacture these moons anymore. So when I'm out, I'm out. But I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 sets left, I believe, maybe 5 if I can find the other one, but I really, really love these. The next category is living jewelry, and that just means that it uses materials that came from a living thing. So if you watched a previous video, you actually watched me make these. These are porcupine quill earrings. So these are natural porcupine quills. You know, it doesn't hurt the porcupine to lose their quills. So these are ethically sourced. I always make sure that any animal material that I get is from a reputable place that, you know, humanely collects them. But I literally only have 1 set of these with this kind of coiled cap here because I only had 1 set of coiled caps. So whoever buys these, they get my one and only. But I love these. They are sharp, so I do kind of snip the ends a little bit because otherwise they would kind of stab you when you wore them, and they're really long. So I love how these turned out. And then I made these, which have become the bestseller in the porcupine quill category so far. I love these because they have kind of a tulip shaped cap. And I also love that these porcupine quills are all unique. You know, they have imperfections in them. You know, this kind of looks like I guess, is it like keratin, kind of like your fingernails has started to kind of wear. But it just shows you that it's real, you know, and they're not exactly perfect. So I love them, but I have sold quite a few of these so far, which is exciting. And I wear these a lot because they're just so simple and, you know, they're not too chunky. They're just long and dainty. So these are my favorites, but I wanted to give some variety. So I do have different cap sizes just depending on the shape and size of the porcupine quill. So you can see this one's really thin at the top, but then some other ones are a lot thicker. So I have different sizes that kind of go with what it needs, and I offer those in both gold and silver, and you can choose your cap size. But again, you can see each one of these is unique and different in their patterns, and I think that just makes them even cooler. So I love these porcupine quill earrings. So yesterday I posted these 2 new porcupine quill earrings onto my storefront, and these are actually African porcupine quills, which look like this instead of, you know, this, which is pretty much the entire thing. It's capped off at the top, but these are a lot more patterned. They have kind of shorter sections of color, whereas these are kind of half and half. And so I've had fun kind of cutting them to display their patterns. And then on these, I actually added real bone beads. These beads are made from either cow, bison, or camel, and they are made in Africa. So I thought African porcupine quill with African made beads would be perfect. And since I snipped, you know, the long ones, because they're about 10 inches long, I did put caps on the end, which 1, you're not going to be so sharp, and 2, I think they just look a little bit more elegant. So these just dropped yesterday, so I hope that they do well, but these are now my new porcupine quill favorite sets. It's hard to pick a favorite, but I like the little end caps, and I love the bone bead on these. My final pair that have porcupine quill as a part of the earring are these, but they also have Western Diamondback rattlesnake vertebrae or backbones in them. And I think these are just super cool. So we've got kind of, to me, it looks like the phases of the moon, this kind of bead enclosure here, wrapped around the vertebrae. We've got the tulip cap, and then the natural porcupine quill. So these are pretty long, but I think they have lots of character just because they're using 2 different kinds of animals, and I just love how these turned out. Using those as inspiration, I ended up making these. These have a snake vertebrae in this kind of bead. I'm not sure, there's a name for these, but it's supposed to go around a bead, but I put it around the vertebrae. But then I've got these metal spikes that are etched. You can see they have a pattern in them. And I really liked these. There's just a little bit more metal material, and so I have them in silver and gold. And I've loved wearing my set of these around, and I got tons of compliments on these. So I haven't sold any of these yet, so you might be the first one if you want to order one. But these are really still dainty, but just kind of fun. Since they were so long, I ended up making some that were shorter. So this one, again, has a Western Diamondback rattlesnake vertebrae. And this one I didn't use one of those bead things. I actually used a hexagon. And then I have the shorter etched spike that I used as my kind of wand and those other ones. So I love these because they're not quite as long and they're a little bit more casual, I would say. These are my next set using snake backbones. So these are just, I think they're pewter, a charm holder, and then I have added a larger snake vertebrae to the middle of this, and when they hang, I think they look really pretty. So I love these, and they're a little bit more chunky, and just a different style. My next set is moons with snake vertebrae bones and little snake charm. These are kind of a pain to do because the charms are a little fiddly to get onto the moons because the moons kind of get in the way of the pliers, but I really like how these turned out. So these are fun. They're just a little bit more kind of mystic, celestial, but still with some snake bones and a cute little charm. Then these are probably my favorite of all of my backbone jewelry. These I just think turned out so cute, and I have two different styles. So this one I used 7 of pretty much the same size vertebrae to put in this brass rectangle. So I just string them onto a wire here and have to secure it down. And then I made a set that tapered large all the way up to small, and I can't decide which one I actually like better. I like them both. So can't decide on these. I love them both. They are so cool. At least for me. I know bones aren't everybody's thing, but I just love how these turned out. Then my final set so far of snake bone jewelry are these. These are snake, again, Western diamondback rattlesnake rib bones that I have placed in these pretty little vials here and made into earrings. So a lot of the rib bones are too big for these vials, so I really have to find the tiny ones to fit in here. So I don't have very many of these. I think I only have 2 right now because the rest of the bones are too big to fit in there. They're too curved and I don't want to break them. But I thought these turned out really fun. The first that I made, I totally messed up. I tried to use super glue to attach the cap securely and found out through error that super glue off gases, and it literally fogged up the glass on the inside and glued my bones together. So my husband had to hammer it apart and try and get some of the bones salvaged, but learned my lesson. So these are secured with E6000 glue, and they have been sitting here for about 4 days now, and they still look nice and clear. So lesson learned there. Next up in the living jewelry category are freshwater pearls. Now I had these giant bead caps that I had no idea what I was going to do with, but then I found that these freshwater pearls that I got from my cousin fit perfectly in these, and I think they just look like a little fairy house or something. I don't know. I just thought these were so whimsical and so fun. And the freshwater pearls that my cousin Kathy gave me are gorgeous. And so I went on an entire evening just making new designs for these freshwater pearls. Let me show you the rest. This is the rest of the freshwater pearl series that I have so far. And I love how the gold and the pearl go together. So each one is slightly different. I'm using gold colored bead caps and gold or brass colored charms to connect them, and I just think these look really elegant. So this one's kind of a squarish one. This one has a curved, it's hard to see on camera, but this is a curved teardrop shape, so it shimmers really well in the light. This one has a really pretty brushed brass diamond at the bottom. This one has kind of a more hammered rounded triangle charm. And then I love this one. This one has this, it's not honeycomb, but like kind of, I don't know, it kind of looks like it could come out of the sea, or it's like a beehive. I don't know. It's just really pretty charm, kind of with different sized holes, and then our freshwater pearl attached at the bottom there. And then for a bigger earring, I have this gorgeous little brass teardrop shape that frames the freshwater pearl in the middle, and I just love it so much. So I've had tons of fun making these out of these giant freshwater pearls that my cousin so nicely gave to me. Now, I've mentioned in previous videos that I live near Kansas City, Missouri, so I am currently working on some Kansas City Royals earrings. So this has, a blue, we'll call it a gem. It's not a real gem, but a blue sparkly stone, a gold colored KC and our brass teardrop again. I really like these, but I have some other ones that I've been working on and playing with, like these. And I love these so much because I found these really cute crown charms and this dyed Dolomite Jasper bead set that were different shades of blue. And then I've got 14 karat gold plated gold ball beads. And so these ones are a little bit more expensive just because they're using higher quality materials, but I think they look really cool. They're kind of a subtle royals thing, just because, you know, it doesn't say KC anywhere, but it does have the blue and the crown. So I really enjoy these. So there's those. Up next, I've got some resin and wood frames around a gold colored crown charm, and then again that kind of rhinestone gem there. I thought these were really fun, just something different. And of course I had to have some that had a KC on it, and I love these resin and wood charms because they have some shimmer in the resin, but this KC charm is one of my favorites. It just matched perfectly, so I love that one. And then I thought it would be fun to pair a KC one with a crown charm, just so that, you know, you had something different. My cousin Kathy, who gave me the pearls, loves to mix and match things just to have something a little bit different on each side of her ears, and I thought that would kind of be a fun little asymmetrical design there. Then I found these really dainty little crown charms. They're so small. Found those at Michael's, actually. Michael's has a great selection of jewelry supplies, which I hadn't been there in a while, and so I'm glad I kind of went because I went a little crazy. But I thought these looked really sweet inside the open oval resin and wood charm. So I have them in gold, but I also offer them in silver. I know a lot of people like different metals. I'm kind of into gold right now, but I used to hate gold and I was a silver only person. So I want to make sure I have a variety. So I have gold and silver in both of these. And then I wanted to do some silver KC since I had the gold KCs. These charms were the perfect size to hang out in the middle of that circle cutout of our wooden resin charm, and so I love that I now have some silver KC options. And I also added them to the solid one with the shimmer resin, just as something, just a variety. I just want to give choices to people. And then finally in the Royals category, I did some faux leather ones. So I just used my Cricut machine and cut out some gold circles and then a crown out of a blue one and added those together on a gold ear wire. And then I did this white faux leather that I cut out KC on and backed it with a blue circle on a silver ear wire. So these types of earrings had a huge moment, you know, a few years back with the teardrop shaped ones, you know, like this. I found these on sale, so I had to grab them. But I thought these were just kind of fun and different, and they're really, really lightweight. So some of these can get a little heavier, so these are very, very light, and I just wanted to, like I said, have variety and try something different. Okay, this is so much, but this is my crazy selection of Chiefs jewelry, so let me show you very quickly. Okay, I only pulled off one of each because they are all on that display, and I just don't want to take them all off. So these are arrowhead charms in an arrowhead outline, and I have them where they match, so like gold outside, gold inside, but then I have them flip-flopped to where there's silver outside, gold inside, and then same here, silver and silver or gold and silver. I have gold and silver outlines with kind of a gunmetal gray charm on the inside, and then finally gold and silver outer charms with, it's hard to see, but it's kind of a copper rose gold color charm on the inside. I also have silver with the kind of copper rose gold, and then I have silver with kind of a dulled brass charm in the middle. So I have lots of options in these types of inner charms. Again, for some variety, I have the same outer arrowhead charms in gold and silver, and then I changed up the middles to these kind of chunkier, more textured arrowheads, either gold or silver. So I've got gold on gold, gold within silver, silver on silver, and gold within gold. So again, just more choices and just different, slightly different arrowheads. And my last arrowhead charms here that have arrowhead within arrowhead Just again, a different style of arrowhead in the middle. So this is gold outer, silver inner, and then silver outer and gold inner. I really like these arrowheads. I just think they have a really pretty pattern on them, and they are kind of daintier than the chunkier ones. So I really like these. And of course, I couldn't forget to use my favorite KC charm. Unfortunately, I can only find the KC charm in gold, not silver, so I did gold and gold and then silver and gold. But I really love these KC charms. Just to do something a little different, I did do one of the kind of etched staffs within a silver charm. So this is silver and silver, and so I just thought these were really pretty together, and they fit kind of perfectly. So just something a little different. Then I found these really pretty arrowheads that are brass, and then they're hammered, and they have kind of a green tarnish look within the texture. So I really liked how those turned out. And so I also added them to this hexagonal charm just for something a little bit different instead of the arrowhead on arrowhead, just to give it another shape. And I really like those together. So just something a little more subtle, a little bit maybe more dainty, a little more elegant, I would say, than just kind of the arrowhead charm. So I really think these look really cute together. Next up are one of my favorites for Chiefs. I found these really pretty arrowhead charms. Now these are gold plated. The silver ones are stainless steel. And then I strung check glass seed beads onto some head pins here in red and gold for the gold version, and then in red and yellow for the silver version. So I think these look super fun, and they just have kind of a circular frame for the charm. I also used the same check glass beads to make a charm holder for this larger textured arrowhead. So these are a lot longer, but I really like them as well. I can't pick a favorite. So these were really kind of tedious to make because these seed beads are are really small and kind of hard to work with, but I really like the results, so it's worth the time and effort. These next two use really pretty thick circle frames. So this one has a little silver football charm in the middle, and this one again uses my favorite KC charm, and the pattern on the circle almost looks like a baseball stitch. So these work for both, I think, football and baseball. So it could be KC, Royals, or Chiefs. So I really like these. Okay, this is kind of a set of wood and resin with shimmer and gold leaf. I don't think it's real gold leaf, but I really love these back charms, and so I added some really pretty, I think they're called focal charms, like the front charm. So we have a helmet, and that's in silver. We have that really pretty gold arrowhead, this kind of chunkier, more textured gold arrowhead, the KC charm, and the silver football charm against our wooden resin backdrop. And last but not least, we have the kind of more intricate design arrowheads with the chunkier ones here. I have silver and gold in these and just silver in these on this resin and wood backdrop that has yellow, red, and wood. They stopped manufacturing these, so whenever I run out of these, I'm out, and I really only have 4 or 5 left in total. So I hope they start making these again because they were just the perfect color for the Chiefs, but it'll just inspire me to make more of something else. So that was a lot. That is a lot of jewelry, but I hope you enjoyed kind of seeing what I've done so far. I did want to give you a little preview of kind of my plan. These were fishing lures that my grandpa had, and he passed away not a couple years ago, but we were going through his things, and I found 2 matching fishing lures, and so I turned them into earrings. I cut off the sharp points on the treble hook there, but I just thought it would be kind of fun to go find old fishing lures and maybe make fishing lure earrings, and also maybe start using some vintage costume jewelry that these are from my mom. She cleaned out her jewelry box for me and gave me a bunch more than this, but I love antiquing and going to antique stores and thrift stores, so I thought it would be really fun to kind of upcycle old costume jewelry that nobody really wears anymore, but that still have really good potential to be something new and exciting. So that is kind of what my plan is going forward. So look for updates, but I will link my Etsy shop down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and head over to my channel to subscribe for more content like this. And I hope to see you again very soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.